And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. And welcome to Contender Wednesday. Today in the program, we start off with our homegrown talent, our homegrown candidate, Harley Brown, who joins us in studio, Janice McGeehan, Lieutenant Governor Brad Little, Dr. Tommy Ahlquist, and Idaho needs Nonini. Senator Bob Nonini will round up the show, plus your calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO if you have a question for the candidates. Mr. Brown, welcome back to your home away from home. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, Kevin Miller.
How you been?
I'm super. Thanks for asking.
So how goes the campaign? And once again, there have been thousands of people that have moved into the Gem State. You know, even in this building, the broadcast center, with all the intelligentsia in this building, we've had some turnover since your great run 4 years ago, when not only did you set the tone in the Gem State, but you set the tone nationally. So tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're running, for people that may not know the legend that is Harley Brown.
Well, I'm Harley Brown. I'm a product of the U.S. Navy Seabees, and I'm running for governor because I really care about my grandchildren and this nation spending money worse than a drunken sailor. Who would know better than a real sailor? But I'm telling you, there's a hemorrhaging of finances at the federal level that needs to stop. They talk about balancing the federal budget. But we got to go beyond that, and we got to pay off this national debt. When I ran for governor 4 years ago, I was complaining about the $17 trillion. Well, now, 4 years later, it's up to $21 trillion. That's about $1 trillion a year that we're dumping on our grandchildren, and it's got to stop. It's a nemesis that I hate to pass on to my posterity, and I'm jumping in to do something about it. And there's some other things, but that's the big one to me. That's the big one.
So this is a run-up, though. You're running for governor, but eventually you're going to run for the White House, right?
Yeah, that's the ultimate. As a former naval officer, I want to have command at sea of a tin can. That's a 1,500-ton destroyer. Before I take on my Iowa-class battleship, the USA, 57,000 tons. And, the ships all work the same. It's just that on a smaller scale. I want to practice on Idaho. And dig this, my fellow Idahoans, make my mistakes on you in the Little League. How does that sound for a politician to say that, huh? That I'm essentially going to make you guinea pigs if you have the gumption to elect the likes of me. But I'll tell you, I'm smart. I learn from my mistakes, and
I'm glad to know that will be your mistakes.
Well, I mean by I'm smart. Hell, I'd pass my driver's test on the 5th try.
Hey, that's not bad. And again, we're proud to have you here. Harley Brown joining us, candidate for governor. So last time around, you got a lot of national attention from your debate with Idaho Public Television. I noticed this time around, you weren't on the stage at Idaho Public Television.
Well, this is the radio, and I'd like to use language that would make a sailor blush, but the FCC would
Well, that'd be it for Kevin Miller. Kevin Miller would be trying to get a job on your staff, and I hear that's a pretty competitive thing to get.
Nah. Sign here, son. No, I'm saying here, I'm down on Idaho Public TV like God Almighty is down on sin. They're letting the other guys go to the debates, but they're treating me like a minority, as Archie Bunker would say. I feel like a middle of the game, an NFL game, and the referee comes over to the head coach and says, hey, I'm giving your opponent all these advantages, but your team doesn't get them. The guy will go ballistic. And that's what I did with Nate Shellman a few weeks ago. And thank God I didn't follow through in the physical world what was going through the neurons of my brain. He kindled my wrath, and due to my tremendous self-discipline and guardian angels holding me back, I just bolted out of his soundproof studio.
Now, remember, we weren't going to mention that, remember?
Huh?
Yes, we
I
had
didn't mention his company.
no, or him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. Let's get back to your campaign.
The jury will disregard the former statement.
Right. Let's focus back on you and our great friend Harley Brown with us. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. What do you say, Mr. Brown, to people that say, well, Harley's not that serious. He's not as serious as Tommy Ahlquist or Raul Labrador or Brad Little. Give us your platform. If elected, what would you do?
Read a lot, talk a lot to people who knew more than me. This is the difference between the Idaho governor and the president of the United States, is that everybody in the cabinet serves at the pleasure of the president. Not in Idaho. There are 6 constitutional officers that are reporting directly to the people, like the superintendent of public instruction, the Idaho attorney general, the Idaho comptroller, the Idaho treasurer, the lieutenant governor, and I don't have command authority over these people.
But you do have command over the Guard.
Well, yeah, but I have to share that with the president. These guys aren't like the state militia who are, fanatical devotion to their supreme.
By the way, I missed you. You know Terry Shepard, right? The Ben Franklin impersonator does a great job. So Terry does Patriots Day every year at the state capitol, and you had the Idaho 3%. You had the Ada County Lightfoot militia. You had all these people, and you weren't there. You missed a big campaign appearance there. Dave Leroy was there, one of your friends for years. Steve Pankey was there for years. You know Steve Pankey, all these people, and that was a perfect Harley Brown crowd.
Lock and load, baby. No, I missed that. My intelligence is not 100% foolproof, and
Well, it was a missed opportunity, but let's talk about the campaign now and being on the trail. So people that say, okay, Harley, we love you, you're great, but can you win? How can you win? How do you pull it off, sir?
Miracle. It's going to take divine intervention to get the likes of me into the governor's mansion, not the governor's office. I'm up against some real tough competition. Merle Labrador, and Brad Little, and I've never had the pleasure to meet Dr. Tommy, but, these guys are heavy hitters politically, and I'm the underdog. I started off as being the underdog, and then these friggin' TV stations wouldn't let me have equal time.
Right, there's still time left in the game. How hurt were you about not being on the debate at Idaho Public Television, sir?
Very hurt.
Well, what did they say that they let you debate the last time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did. And my campaign has accelerated and got bigger. I got more name recognition nationwide and everything. But,
well, you were on with Chris Matthews.
They're sneaky. They don't tell you why. They have these secret little meetings, and I know where you live. Oh, sorry.
It's okay, Harley. Let's just take a breath here. Have a little cup of coffee. Yeah. We've got some time. Our friend Harley Brown joining us. If you have a question for him, 580-5436. 580-KIDO as we move along. It is Contender Wednesday. So, have you talked to Walt Baines? How's he doing?
I don't know. I heard he was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they call him the redneck Santa Claus. I'll tell you, he's a poster child for curmudgeon of the century.
Well, and again, for people that don't remember, I mean, you had that was the line of the day when you said to him, you've got a cowboy, a curmudgeon, and a regular guy. Remember that?
Yeah, I said, well, at the end, it was my parting shot. I said, well, you got a cowboy, Butch Outer, a curmudgeon, Walt Bates, a biker, myself, and that normal guy over there, and that was Russ Fulcher, who's a good man. I like Russ a lot.
Russ is a good man. By the way, you're still committed to running for governor. You didn't want to run for Congress.
Governor is in the executive branch. That's more like the president than Congress. Congress is one of 535, And, it's a super bureaucracy, especially in the House, the rules and all that. And, I used to be a company commander in the Seabees. In fact, the youngest company commander in the whole Atlantic Fleet, maybe even the whole Navy. I got that when I was an ensign because my chain of command realized my tremendous potential and leadership abilities. And, but again, hey, I don't like to be bragging about myself, but I'm a darn good leader. And I know how to run a staff and take command and take responsibility for the actions of others. And I've done it, and it's tough to do that. But, you delegate and follow up. And here's one. Act like it's impossible to fail. And, do it. Don't tell any man to do something that you wouldn't do yourself.
All right. Has Governor Otter done a good job?
I think so. I like Butch Otter. He has, he saved me in some of these debates.
Well, we won't relive that one, but more coming up with our friend Harley Brown next. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. There we have it. Let's go to the phones for Harley Brown. Manuel in Nampa. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Mr. Brown. How are you this morning?
Hey, Manuel, call me Harley. When you call me Mr. Brown, it sounds too much like a judge, and I can't sleep that night. Hello, Manuel.
Okay, Harley. Well, I have two questions, if I may, that were presented at the debates the other night. One is religious rights over health care, and the other would be your tax plan. And I'll get off the phone and listen to your answer.
All right, your tax plan. Thank you, Manuel, for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. What about it? Your tax plan and religion.
Oh, man. Well, when you get involved, sex, religion, and politics, I got my fill with politics, man. But if I get into religion, I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and everything in the Bible is the absolute Word of God. And this is America, where people can practice their religion. But when it comes to killing their kids, that's a tough one, man. I'd go with religion. I would say faith in God trumps any kind of medication or doctors, okay? They're practicing medicine, but if you lay hands on the sick, they will recover. That's what it says in, I think, the last chapter of Mark, the Gospel. And the second one, taxes. Taxes suck. This nation was founded by armed revolution against tax oppression. And Thomas Jefferson says the government that governs best governs least. And we got along fine from 1776 to 1913 without the scourge of income tax. And the government is supposed to be our servant, not our master. Who ever heard of a servant knowing under penalty of law the nearest penny his master makes every year? It's sickening, but it became such a lucrative revenue source that they just couldn't get rid of it, and that tax law became convoluted. Now I think it's 77,000 pages. It ought to be thrown out on the grounds of void for vagueness. I hope that answers your inquiry, Manuel.
All right, 580-5436, 580-KIDO, our great friend Harley Brown joining us here. So let's talk a little bit about the news coverage. Have you gotten any from the TV stations?
Oh, yeah, my news coverage. I'm down on Channel 2, Channel 6, Channel 7, Idaho Public TV. They're a bunch of prejudiced people, and they're hurting my campaign, and I'd like to do something to all of them, but the murder laws of the state of Idaho are far more deterrent for me to carry out what I have in mind. Oh, God, this is like an NFL coach, and I tell you that on the air, where they come over and tell them during the game, hey, man, we're going to give the other team all these advantages, but you don't get anything. I mean, the guy would go ballistic, and essentially that's what these TV stations are doing to me.
They're not covering you. So why do they tell? Well, look, you were a big-time candidate 4 years ago. I'm trying to think. Heck, you're the only returning guy from 4 years ago. You're almost like the incumbent. So why aren't they covering you?
Ask them. You know, Trump is down on these people, too. At the national level, he calls them the fake media. And they're like, you know, the other candidates are fine as far as I'm concerned. But these poisonous snakes in the media should be exterminated.
Do you think it's the deep state? Like the ones that are after Trump?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, there's a little bit of it here. Nothing compared to Washington, D.C. I mean, the deep state there is, you know, down where the Titanic is, man. Deep, deep, deep. Here they're just a little bit wet. But by God, it hurts me, and I hate it. And my natural tendency is to inflict the maximum death, wounds, and destruction on my enemy in the minimum of time. But again, this isn't World War II, and I've got to do things by the book.
Exactly. And by the book, it's time for traffic. And I'm Kevin Miller, back with our friend, Idaho gubernatorial candidate, Harley Brown. So how would you balance the budget? I mean, we've got this surplus. People say we should get rid of the grocery tax. Do you believe we should get rid of the grocery tax?
You're talking the state budget, right?
Yeah, right. Let's start with, as you would say, your starter.
My destroyer, huh?
Right, your destroyer before you get to the battle group, sir.
All right, well, I'm glad we got that constitutional amendment. It's in the Idaho Constitution says we got to balance the budget. That's good. Forces these politicians to do their job right. We got the Joint Finance Committee in the legislature. It's their job to hammer out all the details, and it's just my job to veto it or pocket veto it or sign it into law. The grocery tax is asinine. I say again, asinine. They tax you for the groceries, and then they give the money back to you. It's like taking blood out of one arm, putting it in the other arm, and spilling half of it on the way. I believe with Tammy Nichols, who's running for the 11th District representative,
yeah,
eliminate it. Get rid of it. We don't need it. And, you know, groceries are a necessity. I mean, if it was alcohol or, you know, well, being an Irishman, a necessity. But I'm saying groceries are a necessity, and they shouldn't be taxed.
Well, that's a good point. So if elected, you would repeal the grocery tax. Harley Brown joining us here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's talk a little bit more about any of the other candidates. Does anybody impress you in the field? And let's face it, it's not so bad if you don't win this time because you're a Trump guy. You wouldn't want to run against Trump, would you?
No. I love Trump. He won, man. Hillary had her fireworks ready to detonate, and Trump won it. Oh, God, that was grand. That was exquisite, not merely magnificent. Anyhow, the other candidates, I know one guy at the 1st Congressional District who I like, just seeing him one time. That's Mike Schneider. He's feisty. He's a real fireball. And even though...
Are you endorsing Mike Schneider?
Yes, I am.
Well, that's newsworthy. I'll have to put that in the blog.
Yes, sir. And I'm basing that on his performance at that Channel 2 debate on the 14th of April.
Sure.
The one they didn't invite me to, but I watched it. And yes, sir, I'm sorry about that, Russ Fulcher. And
now, wait a minute. You and Russ are colleagues. Why aren't you endorsing Russ? You like Mike Schneider over Russ Fulcher?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Because he's got true grit. I like his attitude. He's a fighter, and I could sense it in him, you know?
Now, what about Lieutenant Governor? You've got Idaho Needs Nonini, Steve Yates, Kelly Packer, Janice McGeehan, Marv Hagedorn. Do any of those candidates, would you prefer them serving in the Brown administration as your lieutenant governor? I can go over them again if you'd like. You've got Steve Yates. You've got Marv Hagedorn, Senator Hagedorn. You've got Senator Nonini, Idaho Needs Nonini. You've got Kelly Packer, state representative. You've got former state representative Janice McGeehan. Do any of those names jump out at you?
I haven't really studied that too hard, but just for political purposes, I'd pick one of the women.
One of the women.
Yeah, because I'm kind of a male chauvinist pig, okay?
So would they keep you in line, the women?
Ooh, I'll let her... No. Hey,
Mrs. Brown wouldn't like that.
no. Hey,
Or Sailor Jim's wife that, remember, in the basement was going to beat you up or whatever. Remember that?
Fat Jack.
Yes, Fat Jack.
Oh, God. Hey, no. I haven't really studied the qualifications of lieutenant governor. That said, I'd be inclined to round out my my administration with a female for political purposes, and keep the tough jobs for the men. That's what I would do, and I don't want to sound like
Well, you just did.
a male chauvinist pig.
Well, you just said you were.
But yeah, all right.
Are you saying men are better than women?
In certain ways, women are better than men. Like
Now you're reversing
taking
yourself.
care of babies and stuff like that.
You're on the campaign trail. You're a politician now. You're sounding like a politician.
That's what
Right.
I just considered your question to be a political target of opportunity.
Exactly.
And for political purposes, I'd window dress it with a female.
Well, Harley Brown, will you come back?
Come back where?
Come back here.
Hell yeah. I mean, yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate it. Now, what is it, Harley Brown for governor? You have a website or anything?
No. I'm running it on a really low value.
You're running an anti-social media campaign.
No, I like social media. All the momentum I got from my presidential campaign 4 years ago had my IT guy talk me into running again for governor.
And here you are with us.
And thank you for all my Harley Brown fans out there.
Harley Brown
tuned in
Nation.
Based on the social media.
Yes, Harley Brown Nation.
Harley Brown Nation.
Well, we will see you again.
Thank you, Kevin Miller, for having me. God bless you and
God bless you, my friend.
all that jazz. Thank you.
All right. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning.
Blessed to be a part of your day. We like to call it today Contender Wednesday. We have a ton of people coming on today. Janice McGeehan will join us. Not only that, we will talk with Senator Nonini, Tommy Ahlquist, Brad Little. A lot going on today. As we break down the primary season, we're just, a couple weeks away. Another big debate. It is unfortunate that we don't have candidates like Harley Brown given the opportunity. They're running for office. They're doing their thing. And yet you have the the media industrial complex, the deep state, keeping guys like Harley out. I don't know how they can get away with it because, again, if you're running, you're running. Or even Steve Pankey, for that matter. It's just unfortunate that is happening. Also unfortunate, and for me, I love, and I'm sure you do, I love the politics. I don't really buy that, I'm tired of the negative ads. I kind of like, what negative advertising is almost like pro wrestling. What will they say next? You just heard the ad there with, going after Dr. Ahlquist, Tommy and his daddy. Okay. Who uses the word daddy anymore? Anyway, I find that spot funny. And yes, it's easy for us to laugh because maybe we're not as attached to the candidates as we like. However, yesterday on the program, and if you were listening at 5 a.m., you heard our interview with Representative Malik. And it's funny, and it shows you the lack of saturation and perhaps how ineffective these ads are, because I was watching his TV ad, and it's on one of those stations. I can't remember which. In fact, being self-serving here, the most effective way of advertising, it's not with, geofences or any of those things. It's not, this is my personal opinion. They're effective or whatever. It's not with television. The most effective advertising is in a Republican primary is talk radio station. I won't even just say this station, which I'm very partial to because it's, where I derive my livelihood from. However, the spoken word, people that are engaged, they listen to talk radio. They listen to this station and other stations of that ilk. Everything else I think is window dressing. And you're going to get a lot of people that may vote, they may not vote, but the people that listen to talk radio, they vote. They're engaged. The question is that enough to get a candidate over the top? I think that it is. So yesterday we used to have, what is it? We have one monitor in here, which is industry speak for television. So I'm watching television, and I see this Luke Malik ad, and I go, wow, that's real positive. And then Tea Party Bob shows it to me, and it's negative going after Russ Fulcher, which, again, for me personally, in that congressional race, if people are attacking you, you must be doing something right. And again, this station, this show, is an open funnel. We're not picking sides. We're letting everybody go at it. But from my own personal perspective, I'm thinking, and in the ad, they're saying that Russ Fulcher has been running for office again and again. He's a career politician, which anyone who knows Russ Fulcher knows that's not true. And then they say that Representative Malik and Governor Otter fought Obama against Obamacare. Well, that's not the case. As we know, the governor went from I'm suing Obama to I'm taking Obamacare. And as we know, Representative Malik, he said it, what was it? It didn't matter what his constituents said. He voted for the Idaho Exchange. And I thought, here you have a young man who has a bright political future. I don't know if somebody talked him into it. He's probably an astute guy. He went negative. But there's nothing there, in my opinion. Now, maybe you believe that there is something there. And to me, I think if you're going to vote for Luke Malik, you're probably not going to vote for Russ Fulcher. They're different constituencies. But to try and label someone as a career politician, I don't know. And maybe I have a bias here. If I do, I'm self-reporting to you. By the way, it's funny when they say negative advertising. I think it's great. It gets people engaged. I just wish there were truth to it, right? To a man that is a continual challenger, if not the champion, when it comes to singer-songwriter of this program, Two Fly Bride joins us at KIDO Talk Radio. It's tough to call between who has a better voice, you or Tea Party Bob, but good morning, sir.
Depends on the kind of song and the disposition we have for the day. Certainly, that helps. Christmas is always a blessing to sing whatever.
Well, it was great to hear you and your daughter sing at Patriots Day.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. Thank you for hosting that, or for emceeing that, I guess. Next time I'll sing longer. Short or slower.
Yes, sir.
Hey, career politicians. If you take a look at the Founding Fathers, they were career politicians, 20, 25, 30 years. I mean, Founding Fathers is a book by Michael Law. It's a really good book. And he even touched on that on his Facebook page about how they were, they were debating term limits and stuff like that, and they voted to not do that. And they actually voted it down back then because they knew it would take a long time to get things put in place. But, of course, back then, you needed someone of a lengthy duration to ensure that things got implemented right. And today, I guess the phrase career politician perhaps has a different demeanor in that they're in it for the money versus in it for the long haul to try to get things done. To me, and I've been through several meet and greets with Russ Fulcher and a few others, Russ Fulcher seems to be, I'm in it for the long haul to try to get things done, not because it's got money for me. Because I'll be candid with you, he's not one that's like after money. That's his character.
Well, what do you make of the whole thing about we're going to put an ad? I mean, if you're voting in the Republican primary in Idaho, you're smarter, you're more engaged, you're more politically active than somebody watching Jeopardy or somebody who's watching, and I'll date myself, the Hollywood Squares. It's not on anymore, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, you have to, if you're going to say he's again, I think that's a weak attempt at going after Russ Fulcher. That's my own opinion.
Well, the thing is that you're trying to find something to say, hey, here's a negative about him. And that's what you try to do. You try to, I remember one politician saying in one of the meet and greets that they got calls from a high school friend of theirs, that said, what was he like back then? Is there any dirt back then that happened that I can bring up? And they're like, if there was, they didn't say anything. They're like, I'm not talking to you anymore, and hung up. So there's people out there that'll like try to call your near desk teacher from first grade to see if you
That would
you know,
be
put
that would
glue
be
on
that would be
something.
Mrs. Adams. I don't think she remembers me. I wasn't really much of a student. Hey, here's one though at 580-5436 580-KIDO. You're a person that tells it like it is. Is mentioning Governor Otter in your ad a positive in the Republican primary, considering he lost Ada and Canyon County and he lost Kootenai County? Now, I'm not talking about Lieutenant Governor Little, but I'm talking about Representative Malik, that Governor Otter and Luke Malik stopped Obama. Well, no, they didn't, but your thoughts.
Well, we liked Otter from, the beginning. In the second round, I was like, yeah, maybe he's doing okay. And when we came in for the third round, for the third term, we're like, now get him out of here. And especially in the last 2+ years, where he's just been spending and spending, we just want to get rid of him. And so to me, that would be a negative. It's like, look, you're saying you want to hang out with the guy that just wants to spend. And really, I think what Otter did is and this is what I'm concerned Fulcher's doing, and I know Labrador's it's like they go to the federal, they get the ideas and connections there, and then they come back to the state, and they continue to play the ball game that the way the feds want, and that's what I disagree with.
All right, our great friend, Two Fly Bry. How do you see the governor's race right now?
I'm thinking Labrador is going to take the primary for the Republican, and then he'll take it at the general election.
No Paulette Jordan or A.J. Belukoff for you, huh?
No, I'd actually go for Harvey Brown, actually.
Well,
He's
we
my
love
kind of guy.
We love Harley. Two Fly Bry, take care.
Yeah. Take care, man.
All right. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Do want to remind you, coming up tomorrow, Promote Our School, Secure Our Future at College of Western Idaho, brought to you by CapEd Credit Union, T Mazda Subaru, and our newest sponsor, Grade Power Learning in Meridian, which I'll be there today, taking some more classes on writing. Yes, at 50, if I can learn how to write, so can your child. School should not be intimidating. Check out our friends at Grade Power Learning. In fact, whether your kids are homeschooled, a private school, public school, charter school, if they're looking for help in a certain topic and you're thinking, boy, I wish I could make that happen, go to KIDOTalkRadio.com right now. Look up Power Your Education. Your child, your student could win 50 hours of tutoring from Grade Power Learning. All you have to do is write a 100-word essay on the power of education in your life. That's at KIDOTalkRadio.com under Power Your Education. Remember, College of Western Idaho tomorrow, thanks to our friends at Grade Power Learning. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And we continue on. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller in the morning here. And this is not an oldie but a goodie. This is something that will really resonate with you. We have one big senator who has decided it's time to legalize pot federally. Now, I know a lot of you think this is a good move.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he's going to propose a measure to legalize marijuana across the country. Schumer putting out a video saying he's seen too many lives ruined by pot arrests.
Let's let people who want to smoke it freely.
9 states and the District of Columbia have already legalized recreational marijuana, but expect some fierce opposition to dropping federal laws banning pot use from Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who said when he was a senator in 2016,
good people don't smoke marijuana.
Sessions is concerned about pot acting as a gateway drug to harder stuff like cocaine and heroin. In Washington, Joel Nato, Fox News.
I'm sorry if I offend the conservative, libertarian pot smokers, but I love that quote from Jeff Sessions. Good people don't smoke marijuana. Now, again, we can get into the debate about CBD oils and medical marijuana, but to me, it's a punt. So if you're a conservative, if you're a libertarian, are you going to get in bed with Chuck Schumer? I don't know about that, taking that literally, but hold that thought. Traffic and weather together. Our time is 6
states that started the movement to suggest that marijuana is not dangerous. And we're going to find it, in my opinion, ripple throughout the entire American citizenry, and we're going to see more marijuana use, and it's not going to be good. We're going to see more other drug use, illegal drug use also, which is damaging. I mean, we need grown-ups in charge in Washington to say marijuana is not the kind of thing that ought to be legalized, It ought not to be minimized, that it's in fact a very real danger. You can see the accidents, traffic deaths related to marijuana jumped 20%. These are the kind of things that we're going to see throughout the country, and you'll see cocaine and heroin increase more than it would have, I think, had we not talked about it. The creating of knowledge that this drug is dangerous, you cannot play with it, it's not funny, it's not something to laugh about, and trying to send that message with clarity that good people don't smoke marijuana.
My man, Jeff Sessions. Coming up, we'll talk about that. Janice McGeehan will join us, and Lieutenant Governor Brad Little. A lot going on today on Contender Wednesday. Don't forget tomorrow. Boy, we have a theme for every day this week. Thank You Thursdays, brought to you by the Boise Music Festival. Your chance to win family 4-packs. That's right, family 4-packs to the Boise Music Festival, where you can see Robin Thicke, Baby Bash, Parmalee, all the great acts. For me personally, I like the food vendors in the carnival, but you'll win 4 passes just by listening to me twice an hour in the 6, the 7, and the 8 o'clock hour, live from the College of Western Idaho. We're just getting started on your home for Fox News on the radio in the Treasure Valley. Say it with me, everybody. KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.